Hi everyone! Thank you for watching Aika Artist watercolor painting video. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you, and now let's start painting. Today I'll show you how to paint very easy loose flowers. First, I'll show you the supplies I used. You can also find the list of supplies I used in the description below. So this is my favorite brush right now, the Da Vinci's Quill Brush Series 418, size 3/0. As you can see, it has a very pointy tip and a round belly. If you don't have a brush like this, you can also use any round brushes, so something with a pointy tip and a round belly. For paper, I use Saunders Waterford White. As you can see, it is 300 grams per meter square, size F2, which is 24 centimeters by 19 centimeters, and it's made 100% out of cotton. Additionally, this is block, so all the papers are glued together on the edges, like this. So you don't need to stretch your paper, and you can start painting right away. Once you're done painting, there's just this one part that's not glued, and you could get something thin and sharp, like a palette knife, and you can just put this in on the side like this, then slide it to the side to cut off the paper. Next is paint. I use the Winsor & Newton Cottonman series. And I use the colors as it is for most part, so not a lot of mixing necessary. For the flowers, I used Purple Lake, Dioxine Purple, Indigo, sorry I didn't have the Cottonman version, so I got the Professional series. And for the stamen, I used Cadmium Yellow Hue. For the leaves and stem, I used Hooker's Green Light, and I mixed it with a little bit of sepia, cerulean blue hue, and I think I put a little bit of indigo as well to make it a mossy green color. You can put them in pans like these, and it's best to let it dry before you use them. Other supplies will be cloth or paper towel to soak up excess water, a ceramic palette. Usually watercolor sets come with a palette like this, but the plastic makes your paint beady and it's a bit hard to mix, so I recommend you to use ceramic. If you don't have a palette, you can always use a plate at home. And last but not least, water. You need at least 2 jars of water. One is dirty water that you use to wash off your brush, and the other one for clean water to soak up your brush with clean water. I found this at the 100-yen store and it has 3. I think it was actually a pencil holder, but I found it perfect for my water. Alright, that's it for the supplies. Now let's start painting. First, you want the colors ready so you can work through the piece quickly, so the paint doesn't dry up and you can enjoy the colors bleed into each other. We will be using the colors for the flowers as it comes in tubes, so we only need to prepare the colors for the leaves and stem. Now let's grab some Hooker's Green. Grab a lot of it. And add a bit of indigo. Then add some sepia. And finally, add a bit of cerulean blue hue. And now let's test the color out to see our mossy green. Looks great to me. Alright, so now let's start with a flower. First, grab some purple lake and mix it with a lot of water to make a light wash. We will make a loose triangle-like shape for the first petal with curved sides and a pointy top. Then add a curved stroke on the left. You can make the ends pointy. Then add another curve on the right, but thicker this time, so press your brush down more. And you can fix it a little bit by adding a little bit more. And then for the bottom petal, you can make a U shape with pointy ends again, like this. Great! Now grab a thicker amount of purple lake and add them to the middle of the flower. You can also add a little bit on the tip to add some depth. Also make sure the places you add are still wet. Great! Now let's make another flower with purple lake around here. We will make the shape a bit different this time so it looks more natural. So paint the triangle-like shape with a very light wash with the sides curved and a pointy tip. Then add a curved stroke on the right side with pointy ends this time. Then thicker curves on the left side. And this time, you can make two U shapes with pointy ends for the bottom petal. Grab a thicker amount of paint and add them to the middle of the flower and some on the tips. Again, make sure you place them where it is still wet so the colors bleed in well. I'm adding a bit more color to the first flower as well. Then wash your brush and grab some cadmium yellow hue to add some stamen. You can make thin lines for the stamen like this. And also you could touch the petals to let it bleed. Now you're ready to make more flowers. So this time, grab some dioxin purple and make sure to vary the thickness of the petal so that the painting looks more natural. And don't forget to make them nice and loose. They don't need to be perfect. Alright, now let's try a different angle of the flower. So this will be a sideways view, which kind of looks like a U shape. So let's start by making the petal that's closest to us. Kind of like a circle with a pointy tip on the right side. Then add loose petals on the side like this and make it curve towards the middle. You can make the petals on the edge curved outwards to make it look like the flowers are opening up a little bit. Then again, grab a thicker amount of paint and add them to the bottom of the flower and to the edges as well. Looks great! Alright, now let's add 2 more flowers using indigo this time. You can make the flowers touch each other to let them bleed as well. If you think you have too much water on some parts of the flower, you can dab your brush on your cloth and use your brush like this to get the excess water from your painting. Now let's grab some cadmium yellow hue for the stamen. Make thin lines and let it touch the petals. Great! Now we can move on to the stem and leaves. When you draw the stems, make sure they lead from the middle of the flower and make thin curvy lines which gives a softer touch to them. Now grab some of the mossy green color we made. Additionally, if you touch the flowers, they give a very nice bleed and mixes colors well. Great! Now let's make some leaves. The leaves will have pointy tips, so draw a thin line, then press down and lift your brush again. And by adding some leaves behind the flowers, it gives the painting more depth. So start from the stem, draw a thin line, press down and lift your brush again. I'm adding a little bit more paint again. It was a bit dry. Alright, let's start from the stem again. Let's do it here, thin line, press down, and now make the point go upwards so it adds more character. You can continue to do it. Here's a leaf that touched the flower petal. It makes it bleed nicely again. And when you try to paint a leaf on the left side, you could start from the tip of the leaf and draw towards the stem of the flower. You can even rotate your paper if it's easier to paint that way. Alright, so paint some leaves behind the flowers now. Oops, I added a little bit of paint there. So right now I just dabbed my brush onto my cloth and picked up the paint with my dry brush. Great, now let's make sure the flowers are dry so we can add some details. If they aren't dry, you can use a hair dryer to speed up the process. So get a thick amount of purple lake and add thin strokes on the petals. Start from the middle like this. Don't forget to keep the lines thin. Alright, let's add some to another flower. You could add some lines from the top of the petal as well. And do the same with dioxazine purple and indigo as well. Finally, we'll keep the leaves simple by adding just one line in the center. Like this. Very simple. One line in the center of the leaf. And we are done! Those were some simple and easy flowers to paint. I use them as secondary flowers in boutique paintings like this. And like this. They can also be used as filler, like this. Very simple, so it doesn't get in the way of the main flowers. Thank you very much for watching until the end, and I have a time-lapse version of this painting. I'll put the link in the YouTube description below, and there will be more how-to watercolor paint videos coming soon, so don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel to never miss a new video and to stay artsy. Goodbye for now.